Hey, good morning, Flosstube. It's Rebecca, the Route 66 Stitcher. I am back with Flosstube number 23. If you've been here before, thank you for hanging out and coming back again. If you've never been here before, I hope that you like some of the things that you see. All right, without further ado, I'm going to get started. I have several unexpected, let me put it this way, unexpected full finishes. I have stitching finishes, I have new starts and finishes, I have WIPS, of course, and then a few new starts, a little bit of haul at the end. But without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? I am out on the catio, and of course, the Queen Princess of the Kingdom of Catio, Fiona, is going to be joining us for at least part of the day, it looks like. So let's get started. This was a stitching finish from Flosstube 22. You have seen this before, and I now have it framed. And this is Winter Moth by the Blue Flower. This is an oops frame that I got at Michael's, I want to say a couple years ago. And, excuse me, no, we're not doing that. A couple years ago, and it was a gold color. I took some black, what do they call it, gilding wax, brought the color down a little bit, had a matte cut into the oval. I did decide not to go with all of the snowflakes and all of the stuff around the sides of it, and just keep it very simple and just focused on the actual moth itself in this pattern. So that was finished. It was just waiting on, quite honestly, the mat to be cut. Another finish that I have is you saw these the last time, and these are the punch needle that I did that had finished, the punching was completed. I had not actually finished them yet. I do have them finished now. And I have the squirrel with his acorn and the mushrooms and the oak leaf. And I just finished these with wool on the back. And they're basically just bowl stuffers. So those three are finished as well. So I got them done. The next thing that I got finished was one of my travel pieces for stitching, and that was Celtic Santa, Scotland, by Mill Hill. And voila. I feel like that needs something behind it. Maybe, maybe not. Just some scrapbook paper on the back. Finish that off with a little bit of jute twine. So that is completed now as well. So I did a lot of travel last 6 months for work, so I was able to finish a lot of those travel pieces and get some more stitching in on them. I have something that's a brand new, it was a start and finish. Never saw this coming, but I got kind of interested in the Patriotic Pears since I took the pear class at Jingle Ball last year with Annie B's. And so I decided to go ahead and try some of these Patriotic Pears. And I got 2 of them finished. The only 2 that I did stitch. I only stitched the Land of the Free and the flag. I did not do the Pledge of Allegiance. And here we go. And I'm losing my light. And so, and some wool on top. So we got that one done. And then the Land of the Free. And I did these all with, I want to say, these are all on 40 count. Both of them are on 40 count. And I just chose floss from stash. I did not use the called for because I had a whole lot of stash that I could use. So, and that's the pears. So they are done. And my neighbor decided to start his lawnmower. I apologize. All right. I do have a quasi finish. And by quasi, I mean almost a finish. It's Tortoise Tower by Plum Street. And I have made the pillow. I just haven't stuffed it yet. So I got the stuffing yet to do, but the pillow is made. So it's almost done. I'm going to call it a quasi finish. And that turned out really well. So that is it, with the exception of one big finish that I did not expect to have happen. And that is the Winter Woods Biscornu. And this was from the Jingle Ball last year, 2025. It was a class that Janine McGowan offered, the Winter Woods Biscornu. And it's huge. Absolutely huge. Ta-da! There's 20,000 stitches in this Biscornu, which I don't think is unreasonable for moderate-sized pattern. Not so sure about a Biscornu. But you can't be angry at these animals. At least I can't. And then every bottom corner has a mountain range. And it's as big as my head. I could use this as a travel pillow. It's huge and it's heavy because I stuffed most of it with walnut shells. But yeah, it looks really good. And again, this was all the called for because I actually scored the kit. So none of this was sourced myself. It's pistachio 32 count linen and all the called for fibers. Ta-da! I feel like there should be a drum roll or something because this took forever. So those are all my full finishes, so to speak. Next up, I have stitching finishes, and I have a new start and a finish. And I remember telling you the last time I was here that I was getting bored just cross-stitching, and I really needed to start punch needle again and hardanger again and kind of branching out so I wouldn't kind of burn myself off on the cross-stitching. And so I went and I did a hardanger. And this is Doreen Jones. If you know Doreen Jones patterns, this is obviously one of hers. And this is Christmas Bird Pendibule. Of course, you fold it in half and it looks like a wonton when you're done finishing it. Finish this up. This is all on, what is this on? This is on 25 count Wedgwood Lugana. It is not the called for fabric because the white really wasn't popping appropriately on the called for fabric, at least in my eyes. So I did it on a different color fabric, but all of the floss is called for. And it looks pretty good. Oop, where'd it go? I can't even see where it's going. There we go. Actually, this side's got a little better light, doesn't it? So I need to do hardanger more often. It took a while to get back into the rhythm of it. And I got a little happy with the scissors and accidentally cut one too many linen lines, and I had to take some out and reweave it up in. But other than that, I'm happy with it and can't wait to get it finished. So that is Doreen Jones, Christmas Bird Pendibule. Next up in the full finishes, I have Fox and Albans by Ingleside Imaginarium. So that's what the pattern looks like. And voila. This is done on 40 count Calypso. Correct, Calypso. Fabrics by Stephanie. These are all my own choices of fibers. I did not use any of the called for. And it came together very quickly. So yeah, done with that. And then this was a WIP that I was working on last time that is now finished, and that is Antique Cats in Crowns by Shakespeare Peddlers. And this is on a mystery linen of some sort. But it's completely done as well. And that turned out pretty good. And then I do need a fanfare and a drum roll for this one. Then I don't know where the inspiration came from, but I was able to bang out Rollo de Renne and actually finish this long dog. I know, right? I never thought this was ever going to be done. Anyway, now this is the audience participation part of the program. I honestly think, again, may just be my aesthetic, but I think all the stuff in the background is too much. And it actually kind of distracts from the actual main design. Let me show you. So all of the single snowflakes are okay. Those are beads. The big snowflakes and the stars, I'm not so sure about some of them. Or maybe the little ones. There was a whole bunch of these little 4 square snowflakes, I guess, and I took almost all of them out. There was a whole lot more in the background. I don't know. What do you think? You think it's overwrought? I don't know. There are parts of me when I see it from a distance, I go, yeah, it's okay. And there are parts of me that go, yeah, it's just too cluttered. Tell me what you think. Please tell me what you think. I have been overthinking this for quite some time. On the other side, this is all done this is a 36 count linen. It's called Midnight Tryst by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I stitched all the white with white Floche. And this is the original skein I was working with. I still have all of this left. I bought 3 skeins because I didn't know how much Floche I really needed. And now I'm going to have to do a whole lot more white. But this is a really good value. If you're not stitching your white and your black with Floche on some of the higher counts, it's a really good value if you're interested. The flamingo is in one of the, what's it called? It's one of the sparkly DMCs. And then some of the stars are in Chronic Braid. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was, none of that was easy to stitch. The problem was this moon up here. To me, that looks like Space Invaders from the back, way back in the day. Or Pac-Man, even. But this yellow, I decided to try because it was in my stash, something called Highlights, which has a lot of sparkle and tone to it. For the moon, this is evil. This is outright evil. It splits into 27 different it's horrible to work with, and it must be stopped. That's going in the trash. I don't know where I got the idea that I wanted to try that, but no. -10 out of 5 stars. No, not anymore. All right, that's what I got for my full finishes. Next up are my WIPS. And again, some of my travel stitching. I've come back to this Mill Hill kit, the Advent Trilogy. This is part 2. I've already finished part 1. And I've managed to get all of the squares outlined and get a couple of the squares started on the fill. So that's been working out really well for a travel stitch. One of my other travel stitches is Dirty Annie's Live Dirty, which I'm all about eating garbage, not gonna lie. And last Flosstube, I said that I'd quit working on it because there was something off in the counts up here. And quite honestly, when I picked it up again to try to frog it and figure out where I went wrong and how to move forward, I must have been just making it up because everything has filled out appropriately and I didn't have to take anything out. So I'm just going to keep moving forward. This is on, it must be a 12 or 14 count. It looks like 8 to me. Where I bought it, the lady I bought it from said it's a fabric for rug hooking. So it's not actually meant for cross stitch. It does fray like the devil. So gonna have to be careful as I put this together in a full finish. But I've also gotten a little bit of work done on this as well. So those are the travel stitches. Up next, I have Mojo Stitches. This is Bushland Quaker #1. And this is an ongoing WIP. You've seen this before. I had the center motif done last Flosstube. I've been able to go back in and get these other motifs done. The center of this and the center of this are white. The called for is white, and it doesn't show, so I am going through the process of trying to figure out what color to put in there instead for the stitching. Thinking maybe a very light pink for those, and I am using all of the called for that. And I'm using some of the called for, and I am using some of my own stash that I've pulled. So that's coming along well. And I'm excited about that. Getting that finished because I've owned that pattern since it first came out, probably before 2020. So it's been there for a while. All right, new starts. These new starts? Yeah, these are all new starts. All right, I bought on a D-Stash site because I was coming up on the end of my travel stitch Mill Hills. A Mill Hill Celebration Santa, and it was a D-Stash kit. Joyeux Noel Santa. And it came with all of the stuff, but it also came partly stitched. And some of the stitching has come undone. Some of it is not even. So I've been going back in. I didn't know if it was going to be easier to just rip it all out and start over. But I've gone back in. I've redone the chest. I've redone the purple parts. Now I need to go back in and redo the face and then move forward from there. But that's my new one of my new travels as well. Another new start. Everybody remember Trunktown Autumn? This was from the Beautiful Stitch Finishing School 2 that I went to last October. And that was Trunktown Autumn. And I have picked up Trunktown Spring by the Blue Flower. This came out in Nashville Market. And I've gotten the bottom done on this. I am using the called for DMCs. I think there's only like 5 specialty threads. I think there's a couple weeks and a couple Classic Color Works, but I'm using all of the called for DMC. This is not on the called for fabric. This is 32 count Lullaby by Atomic Ranch. And I was really had this piece that was very limited in size, and I was really sweating, making sure that it was going to fit. So I did the entire bottom all the way across first, just to make sure that it would fit on the actual piece itself. So that's my new start. And also, Janine had given us this velveteen that was a tree trunk, cross-section of a tree trunk with the rings to finish. And she said she had gotten that at Spoonflower. She had ordered it through Spoonflower, and I was able to go on there, very easy to find. The designer, which is patpati. I'll put her information below if you're interested for your trunk towns. And I ordered a sample in the velvet, and the sample is absolutely appropriate size to be able to finish it. So that's coming along, and that will enter rotation. The next thing that I have that was a new start, you did see the plan for this, was the Blue Flower Coneflower Chorus that also came out at Nashville. And I told you how I purchased this to put on world's tallest spool that I had found. And I had counted, and as long as I did it on a 46 count pattern, 46 count linen, it would absolutely fit height-wise. I am doing this on 46 count beanstalk. And I am using the called for Valdani flosses. I bought the kit at Market. The one thing I can tell you about stitching with the Valdani flosses, I have obviously used them for punch needle quite a bit in the past, but had never used the cotton floss. And I think part of it is the variegation is not spread out the way it would be on, say, a 24 count. It's not as dilute. The variegation is not as dilute. And stitching it on a 46 count makes it, I want to say, more punctate, right? It's more saturated, and you don't get as dilute a variegation. So I've had to do some fussy cutting of the floss. And again, that's not against the floss itself. It's really the choice to do this on a 46 count. And so, but it's really pretty, and I'm looking forward to getting this finished as well, and then finished on the spool. And then the next thing up is from Peppermint Purple from Claire, and it is a black work pattern. It was a sal way back when called Portuguese Sardines, and I have started my sardines, and this is on Orange You Glad 28 count Lugana by Mystic Fabrics, and I am using my own choice of flosses for this as I go through this process. There'll be 5 of these sardines as it comes down this way. And I'm stitching this kind of in memory of my Portugal trip a few years ago. So that's another new start. So yeah, that's what I have for stitching right now. I do have some plans that I buried, not gonna lie. I do have some plans. I have, you saw this the last time, I purchased the Freedom Flock from Plum Street Sampler, and I've gotten that kitted up and ready to start, so I can get that started. Of course, not going to be done by 4th of July, but it will be ready to go. to stitch shortly. And I have also kitted up Mary Ew. It's Jack's Sweet Shop. This is one of the tarts from Plum Street samplers as well. That will go in the center of this display for the holidays. And I have that kitted up on 46. Again, something that also has to be on 46 count in order to fit in that spot. So I have 46 neutral picked out for that. Not neutral, neutral raw. All right. And can't forget this beast. Since Rollo the reindeer is now done, I've decided I really do need to circle back to the chatelaine. I had gotten very annoyed with it. Specifically this part up here, having to do literally 8 of them. There's 27 different colors of pink in there. Some of those colors of pink is just one stitch. I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't need all this in my life. And I got annoyed and I hung this away in the bad project closet. This is 60% done at this point, and I really do need to pull it out and work on it little by little, but not burn myself out on it anymore. But definitely put some time and effort into finishing it up. I don't have any of the big specialty stitches or any of the beading done yet. I don't have a scroll frame, a big scroll frame, so I have to use a Q-snap for this, and don't want to crush the stitches, especially those big specialty stitches or the beads as I do this. So I'm planning on pulling out my chatelaine once again. And just to keep up with kind of some variety, and I now have a black work in process, but I also got another punch needle ready to go. I chose my patterns, chose the wool. Going to be a pine cone, another fall leaf, and then a winter scene with a bear. So I've got that ready to go as well. I do have a little bit of haul. I know you've probably seen these already because these go back to May. I don't know how I scored it, but I did. I was able to get into the Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month Club. And so I got my Tumbleweed from May, which is a really pretty color. Don't think that needs spoilers since it goes back quite a bit now. And then this is the June Fabric of the Month from Fabrics by Stephanie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you haven't got yours, here it is. Apple Blossoms, which is really kind of pretty. Really cute spring fabric color. And then my favorite wool shop is no longer open. They're online only, but I did see them at a craft fair. They had a booth at the craft fair, and was able to dive in their scrap bucket and able to pick up quite a bit of wool scraps for punch needle and finishing. I did find a Route 66 cross-stitch pattern by Little House Needleworks. It's this one, and it's from 2014, so it's not that old. Even on a 56 count, this is going to be really, really big. And I'm not sure how I feel about this big lump of landmass in the middle of it. So I don't think that this is going to be one that I actually am going to stitch for the centennial celebration. So back on the hunt, I have found a ton of Route 66 patterns, but you can tell they're all AI because they all cost like 67 cents. They're not quality. They're not done by designers that are known or have been verified or vetted. So let's see, what else do I have? I do have the winner of the giveaway, random comment picker for the Veritas by Mystic Fabric. This is 16 count Ada at that quarter. And that individual, I'll put you up on the screen. I hope, I apologize for butchering this, is Oljanlo 7968. Oljanlo 7968. Send me an email or DM me. The email is down in the description box. And please be over the age 18. Give me your address and I will get that in the mail to you. For today's giveaway, I have a full kit. And this is a festive candy cane from Meridian Designs. Actually, apologies for the crinkle, but I want you to be able to see it if you really want it or not. So that's what it looks like. It's a candy cane pillow with lots of ribbons, lots of stitching, festive candy canes, and from Meridian Designs. And it is a full kit. It includes all of the finishing, backing material, all the floss, the ribbons, the beads, the black Ada, and even the stuffing. So, if you would like the festive candy cane kit, please use number 1 in your comment. And please, please tell me what you think about that reindeer background and whether it's too much or not. Other than that, that's all I have today. It's been great to be back. I appreciate you stopping by and appreciate you hanging in there. And I look forward to seeing you the next time.